Hey everybody, this is Dave Bensman with Bensman Home Computer Repair, and today we're going to cover how to use Gmail. If you go to Google, normally you would see this says Google, but today it says Go Vote, and everybody should. Normally, if you go to Google, you're going to click right here where it says Gmail. Now, if you don't have an account, at that point, you're going to click on Create an Account. It's over here on the left or on the upper right, either one. You're going to left click once on that, and then you're going to put in all your pertinent information, and then you're going to say next, and then it'll jump you through a few hoops. It may send a code to your email or to your cell phone and want you to verify that, and then eventually it'll give you a Gmail account. So if I type in let's see here. First name Captain, last name Kangaroo. And I want to be Captain Kangaroo at gmail.com. And I want my password to be red fish, blue fish. Now, you see this little I with a little slash through it? If I click on that, I can actually see the password, which is very handy if they're long. Redfish, bluefish. Misspelled that. Yep. And then I can say next, and somebody already has that, so we'll just put in 789 in the middle there and say next. Okay, great. So now they want a phone number. You always want to give a cell phone so they can text it. So in case you forget your password, they can always, authenticate that it's you and then reset your password. And then they want, your birth date. So we'll just put in a dummy phone number here. And then they want the birth date, and we'll put in that. And then you say next, and then they're going to verify your phone number. And then they would send you a text, and then you would put the code in, and then you'd be good. And then you say, I agree. And then eventually, it will hopefully create a Gmail account. Those are the basic steps. May not. Oh, and yes, there it goes. Okay. So now it's taking us to Gmail, and it wants to run us through a tutorial, which you can run through, but that's not necessary. So there you go. So that's our Gmail. There's our inbox and blah, blah, blah. We're going to actually get out of that, and we're going to go over here, and this is my actual Gmail account. So how do you use Gmail? Well, if you want to write a letter, in the upper left-hand corner is something called Compose. You click on that, and there's your to line, and to is for people that you want to send an email to. And you generally put one recipient's name there. Then if you want to send to multiple recipients and you want them all to know who, everybody knows who got this email, everybody can see everybody else's name, you click where it says CC. CC stands for carbon copy. So you click on CC, and then you would put, let's say you were sending the email to 5 people, you would put one person's name where it said to, and the other 4 people would go under CC. Now let's say that you want to send the email to one person, but you also want to send it to 4 additional people, but you don't want the 4 additional people to know that they are that who else has received this email other than the original sender. So you would put the original sender up here, and you would put the other 4 under BCC. BCC means blind carbon copy. And anybody in BCC will be invisible to the person who's receiving it and to each other. So that's very handy. If you want everyone to be invisible, you would put everybody under BCC, and the only people who would know that that who got the email would be the person who received it would be the only person who got the email, and they would only know that they got the email. They wouldn't know anybody else got the email. Then, of course, you're going to type in the subject and you're going to type in the message. When you type a subject in for an email, this goes for all email, make something specific where the recipient isn't thinking, did a computer write this? Is this a virus? Is this malware? So don't write a subject line that says, congratulations, or this is interesting, or funny joke, because that might be malware. A computer might be able to come up with that. Write something really specific, like the conversation we had last Tuesday about going to the fair, something that where the person who's receiving it can look at the subject line and go, oh yeah, we did talk about that. This is definitely not a virus. So and so just sent me an email, blah blah blah. And then don't just leave the message blank either. A lot of people will send a link to YouTube, but that's all they'll send in the message line. And it's very bad because you don't know whether that's a virus or not. So write at least a couple of sentences in the message section to show the recipient that this is something that you purposefully and willfully sent, and so they're not, and then describe, if you're sending a link or an attachment, describe what it is in detail. Say, oh yeah, this is a funny video, there's a squirrel and he's on a motorcycle or whatever. It's a YouTube video or whatever, and that'll also help the recipient know what they're getting into when they click on the attachment. Now, speaking of attachments, let's see here. First things first. If you see this little like arrow, the two arrows linked by a line, if you put your cursor over that and click once with your left mouse button, it will full screen your email. So it'll make it larger. And then if you click on that guy right there, it'll take it back. I kind of like to full screen it, unless I'm writing just a short note. So then let's get rid of that. All right. So then there are several things down here that we need to cover, and one of them is the font. You have limited fonts to choose from. So if I type that in, that's there. Then if I change, that's sans serif. If I change to Garamond, it's going to look like this. Now I can also change the font size to large. I can go down here and I can change the font to Verdana, and there it is in large. I can go to bold, italics, underline, and these are all by clicking on these things. And then I can change the color of the text. So you can do all that down here just by left clicking on these things. Left click on the TT, choose a size. Left click on the font name, choose a font name. Left click on these buttons. You can either left click on these things and begin typing, or you can highlight, left click to the right of the text, drag to the left of the text, and then you can click on and it will alter or remove these effects. Boom. So as you can see, I was able to remove the italic and bold effect, and I was able to change the color from burgundy to like electric blue. You can also justify. This is called alignment. You can align it to the left, you can align it center align, or you can align right. Right now it's left justified. We're going to right justify it. See? And we're going to highlight this stuff, and we're going to center justify. That's left clicking on the middle one. And now that's center justified. There's some other stuff right here. You can add numbers. You can add bullet points by, I'm just left clicking on these things. You can add indent lines. You can indent more, and you can add quotes. And what a quote does is it puts everything in there. Let's delete that and all right, so if we want to put that in a quote, we would do that, and it just basically moves it over to the right, puts a line there, and it makes it clear that that what you're writing is a quote of something else. And then yeah, okay. So let's say you've put in a lot of formatting, and let's do that. Let's go to huge and bold, italic, underline. We'll change the font color to that. Okay. So that's that. So if I want to remove all of that, I can just click right here. It's got that little symbol right there, and then all I got to do is do that. Whoops. Highlight it first, move my cursor to the right side of the text block, and drag up and left till it's highlighted, and then click here. And then it just goes back to the original size, the original font, etc., etc. It removes all the formatting. There's some more formatting, or you can remove the formatting options by clicking on the A, the underline A. And now we're going to talk about putting in an attachment. So let's say you've downloaded a picture and you want to attach it, or you want to attach a Word document or what have you. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the little paper clip. It's down here on the on the lower left, side of your mail of your message. You click on that, and then you browse. It brings up a Windows Explorer window, and you browse to what you're looking for. So let's say I want pictures. I would go to pictures, and then there's a picture of a little car there, and all I got to do right at this point is double click it. And as soon as I double click it with my left mouse button, then as you can see, it is attached right there. That means you got 156K attachment to this email. All I got to do is put the recipients, the subject, the message in there, and click send, and it is attached. If I want to insert a link, I can click right here. So this is pretty cool. So let's say I want to put a link in there. So what I can do is I can go to a website. Let's go to my website, and we're going to left click where the address is. Notice how the entire address just got highlighted. Then I'm going to right click on the same highlighted text, and then I'm going to left click again where it says copy. Then I'm going to go back here to this tab, and I'm just switching between tabs by clicking on the tabs. And you can add a tab, like I said, by going and clicking on the plus sign. So I go back to Gmail, and then where it says text to display, I can type in whatever I want. Awesome PC repair guy. All right. And then where it says to what URL should this link go, I'm going to left click once in that box. Then I'm going to right click. Then I'm going to go to paste, and I'm going to left click. And that pastes the URL from the other tab into that window. And you signify it's a web address. It could be a web address or an email address. You signify which one it is. You can test the link. It'll open a new window in that link. And then you say, okay. And look, see, I got awesome PC repair guy. And when I send this to somebody, if they left click on it, it'll open my website. And that's very handy. It's a very handy thing to have. You can put emojis in the thing. And you can insert files using Google Drive. So I use Google Drive because I do voice typing. It has the voice typing feature, and so I type a lot of stuff in there and then copy and paste it to other documents or websites or what have you. So we're just gonna put that in there. So all you got to do is just double click, and there's a Google Drive document in there now. And then this is for photos. So if I want to put a photo in there, really I should have. This is more attached files could be for anything. It could be for a Word document, but photo. If you want to insert a photo, you can click there, and then let's just insert that photo, and that'll actually insert the photo itself into the into the email, which is pretty cool. So if you don't wanna have to force somebody to click on a photo, you can just insert it like that by using this photo thingy right here. And then you can turn confidential mode on and off, and you can send and request money. And that's basically how to use Gmail. If you are not using something like Thunderbird or Windows Live Mail, if you're not using Outlook, then you're going and you want to scan an attachment in, then you're going to want to open whatever your scanning software is, scan it into, let's say you're doing a picture, scan that into my pictures or pictures, and then you're going to want to run through these steps I showed you today to attach it to an email. Well, all right. Well, that's how to use Gmail in a nutshell. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you like the video, please share it and like it on YouTube. And definitely please subscribe to the video. If you are in the Memphis, Cordova, Collierville, Germantown, or Millington area and you need computer repair, please feel free to call Dave Bensman at Bensman Home Computer Repair and have fun using your Gmail. And as always, stay safe.